Jigs and jig trailers. What are the differences? How do you match them up? Hey, I'm Justin here from Mystery Tackle Box, and we're going to talk about how to match up some jigs and jig trailers. So we're going to talk about the three different styles of jigs. You got your regular flipping or casting jigs, you've got finesse jigs, and then you've got football jigs. Those are the three main jigs that you're going to be throwing when you're bass fishing. And there's all sorts of trailers out there, but I want to break down the three main ones that I use in the situations that I throw them in. But let's look at the casting or flipping jig first. If you look at the head design on these jigs, they're designed to come through cover, and you can fish them on the bottom as well. But they're really designed for getting around those objects and trying to bring those fish out of there. Big, nice profile, looks like a big bluegill or a crawfish. Then you have the finesse jig. It's a ball-shaped head. The skirt is thinner. It's a more finesse style presentation. It's great around rocky, clear water areas where bass are feeding on small crawfish, small bluegill, and you just really aren't getting the bites on the bigger jigs. This is where you throw this one. The football jig, just as the name implies, has that football-shaped head, and it's really designed to balance on the bottom and have a stand-up posture, really for dragging out in deeper water depths. A lot of times you'll see football jigs are pretty heavy, and they're great around rocky areas, hard bottoms, and you just pretty much just drag them along the bottom. Now let's talk trailers. Now, I like to use the same three kind of trailers on all of those jigs, just in different times of year. So let's start out in the first part of the year. The water's pretty cold. The bass like that less movement, just more of a slow gliding presentation. That's when I like to go with chunks or craw chunks. Pretty much the same concept on the ends, on the tails. The tails are shaped the same way. They both have that pincher style, just flapping style into them. Now one is just a short body, just something that you can take the hook and stick it through. The other one is a crawfish style body where you can thread the hook all the way through the body of the crawfish. Now I actually like using the crawfish more often because it stays on there better and it leaves a better profile. It bulks up the bait a little bit, especially if I'm fishing around bigger fish. But the same concept applies to the tails. They're both a flapping style, kind of a gliding style. They slow the jig down as it falls. They have a little movement to them, but it's not that whirly movement of like a grub tail or something to that nature. There's really no movement really coming out of those tails, and I like that for the winter because fish and other creatures in the water, when it's cold, they don't like to move a whole lot. They get kind of rigid and they're stiff and they don't have a whole lot of action. So you want to try to imitate that. So you can use those style trailers on all of those jigs at the beginning part of the year when the water's cold. Now when the water starts to warm up in the spring, I really like to go to a grub style trailer or a crawfish with the grub style pinchers on it, get a little bit more movement. Bass are starting to get a little bit more aggressive and the jig just has a lot more action to it. These are two really kind of the same. You can break down the size of the bait and the appendages to how big the jig is. So something that's really small, like the finesse jig, that's where you want to choose something that has some pinchers that aren't going to have a ton of water resistant. You don't want to slow it down too much, and you can bulk up the size of the trailer and the size of the appendages going up to, say, like a 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce flipping jig. And that's how you really determine the size of the body that you're going to throw. But when the water's heating up, I like some trailers that have some action like these two. Now probably my overall favorite trailer that's good throughout all times of year, and I really love to throw them in the fall, is these flipper style trailers. They really they look like anything. They're a mix between the two, the flapping style trailer and the curly tail trailer. They have a little bit of movement on the end. They still have that flapping action, and they also have a defensive crawfish posture action when you let them settle on the bottom. the tails kind of come up and they do this, and that really creates a reaction to a lot of bass that they makes them aggressive and they want to eat that. So if you want to see more tips and tricks like this or in-depth product reviews, make sure you subscribe to the Mystery Tackle Box channel.